Welcome to the show Gold Squadron Gays. It's the podcast where two Star Wars loving gays talk about and review their favorite Star Wars content while also being gay as hell. I'm your host, Bradley Brower.
I'm your other host, Charles Rogers, and we can't keep litigating DC movies to death. We have to move on to Star Wars. But hey, if you want to listen to Bradley and I get really confused about Byzantine DC adaptations, not even the comic, the Byzantine continuities of the various adaptational universes, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/goldsquadrongays to listen to us talk about all of the DC movies that your heart desires. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll talk about Teen Wolf.
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe. We should probably talk about Star Wars.
We should. Also, this episode comes out May the 4th. So
yes.
Happy May the 4th, everybody.
It is Happy Star Wars Day.
You just watched the Maul finale. You're all reeling right now. We haven't watched it, but as of this recording.
From whatever. Nobody's watched it. We're now finally to the point where everybody who got screeners doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
That's true. I forgot about that. No one knows what's happening.
We're blissfully at this moment where everyone's down on our level.
Everyone's on our level. Well, minus the spoilery stuff I do technically know. But
somehow I have ducked this. Yeah. It is the first. I have still ducked this.
That's crazy.
I don't know what it is. Last week I woke up at 6 a.m. to watch Maul on Monday because I thought there was going to be, I guess earlier this week. For y'all, It will be last week. I woke up at 6 a.m. thinking that like this big spoiler was going to happen. So watch the whole thing, and they were fucking great episodes, but the big spoiler did not happen.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like,
I noticed that I didn't get like super messages
doing
or anything.
This one more week.
Of course, everyth's gonna happen in the last two episodes. Of course
they're gonna drop crazy shit in the last couple of episodes. But yes, we have no idea. So happy May the 4th. Bradley and I are now going to wildly speculate on things that you already know, which is what are we going to be wrong about coming out on May the 4th?
I'm thinking this is educated guess. I don't think this is that wild of a theory. I think we will get either a Starfighter teaser or more information, one or the other. I'm leaning towards teaser because I don't see why they wouldn't tease. Why not tease something? But then again, I also see like maybe it's too soon because it's going to be a year later. Like you don't do they put teasers out a year before it comes out? I mean, I don't think
they can. It's rare, but as long as you have footage that's completed, you can theoretically put footage out.
Theoretically put something. I don't know.
We'll see. Doubt it. I think it's probably going to be a Celebration 2027.
I was thinking more Celebration. I definitely think we're getting an Ahsoka teaser though.
I think that's probably the safer bet.
That's the safer bet. That's what I was more leaning towards anyway. I would say we'd get maybe some Starfighter information. I don't think we're going to get a trailer, but we'll get info, something, just a little nugget of information. I think an Ahsoka trailer or teaser / air date. I'm assuming
probably a good bet
in the fall because
please tell us. Please let us know.
Well, because remember, Percy Jackson's going to be possibly December. So I highly, highly doubt Ahsoka 2 will be going on the same time as Percy Jackson. I mean, I'm going to educated guess. I highly doubt they're at the same time. I just don't see that happening because they're going to want people to be subscribed for 4 months. So I feel like the 2 months that Ahsoka is on and the 2 months that Percy Jackson is on, they're going to want people subscribed. So why would you do them at the same time? I don't see that. I'm thinking Ahsoka ends and then Percy Jackson starts the following week or 2 weeks later. So I'm thinking September, October, possibly for Ahsoka.
Do you know why I love doing this podcast with you, Bradley?
Why is that?
One of the many, many reasons. You actually know how producers think. And you actually know how executives
think. Well, because
think.
I think in the way that I would want to do it.
Right. And that makes total sense. No, because it's not crazy to say you want to make sure that and occasionally they're stupid and they will overlap things. They do it. It happens. But generally speaking, yeah, if you're coming up with a streaming service, you want to always have the next thing ready. And I do think
Right.
that they are not going to want their really only Star Wars live action show that's in active right now.
Active development. Yeah.
Yeah, we
There's
they were kicking around a Mando season 4, but I guess the Mando season 4 that they were thinking about maybe doing got replaced with the movie.
right.
So yeah, they're not going to want their only Star Wars show to have to compete with Percy Jackson. Like that would be stupid.
No. And
I think
because the movie comes out this month, I also, I
yes.
mean, it doesn't have a lot to do with Disney Plus subscription yet. It will later in the year because it'll come to Disney Plus later this year. So I'm assuming Christmas is my actual guess because that's the best time to be, let's put a family, we'll call it a family movie, even though I don't think Mandalorian Grogu is a family movie. I think it's a movie that you can go to the movies with your family. So therefore, it will be a Christmas release, which is, I think, okay to do during Percy Jackson. But then again,
Wait, which one?
Mando and Grogu
Oh, you mean on Disney Plus?
on Disney Plus. I
I
see
was
that
about to
happening.
say, Bestie, we know the release date for Mandalorian and
No, 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 no.
Grogu.
I'm
I
saying on
bought my
Disney Plus.
tickets.
No, on Disney Plus, I want to say Christmas because I feel like that's like or Thanksgiving because I feel like that's like an
I
easy
think
like
thanks. Well,
it depends
because
on when Percy Jackson comes out
June,
because I
July,
feel like
August. I think more likely it's going to be August or September.
yeah,
And
because
because of the 3-month theater exclusivity, and then they're going to want to
right
slap that sucker on Disney Plus
immediately. Yeah,
immediately. So yeah, I'm thinking probably closer to August or September.
for sure.
I
Because yeah,
think generally, I'm not going to get too much into it because literally the audience already knows by the time this episode comes out. I think you're right on the money with it's going to be marketing stuff.
yeah,
I think if they were going to do another thing besides the Maul finale, it would have been announced by now. They
mhm,
announced Tales a month out, but it's still a month out to do a little bit of marketing for it. They haven't announced a thing on it, so I don't think we're getting a new thing. They're not Beyonce. They don't drop surprise albums.
right.
That's not how this
Yeah, can you
works.
imagine if there was a surprise tail season on Monday? Like that would
I would
they
be
wouldn't do it
floored
because
on a level
they wouldn't do it
that I no, they wouldn't do it.
because they're taking away from Maul. They would never do that.
That's the other big thing is I was seeing people quite a ways back going, oh, I wonder if we're going to get another Tails. I wonder if we're going to get another
I
this or
don't
that.
think
And I'm like,
so.
something's going to happen in this Maul finale.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen in this Maul finale, and they are not going to want to take away from the impact of it.
I'm
They
sorry,
don't
but
want other
there's
people
no tails
talking.
this year, guys. I don't see it happening.
No,
I'm sorry.
I see it being primarily announcements or marketing or something,
Yeah,
but really they're all in on Mando and Grogu. And on
right.
the Disney Plus side of things, they're all in on Maul as they should be. And so they're not gonna drop another. Also, I like the Tales series. I don't know how successful they've been as full 6 episode drops on
Agree.
May 4th.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that's really worked for them.
it hasn't.
But
It's been unsuccessful. I think it's very forgettable when you do that, and
that's
we
the
have
problem.
discussed that. Yeah.
We all watch it. This is the thing I want to grab Star Wars fans and shake them by the lapels and remind them that you are not the only audience for Star Wars. If you
Yeah.
were the only audience for Star Wars, they wouldn't have the money to make Star Wars. They
Right.
have to appeal. Star Wars has to appeal to other people besides you. They know you're going to watch it. They want to make sure other people watch it too. They put stuff in there for you because they love you, but you're not who they're being marketed to. Really quickly, before we dive into the content of the episode, I have not so much a correction, but a clarification on last week's episode. I described the hissing vocal behind Maul, the Duel of the Fates style vocals, as, quote, ominous Latin chanting, end quote. So I'm referencing there the ominous Latin chanting quote, or not quote, trope, which ominous Latin chanting being played over things, etc., etc. For clarity's sake, I did have a listener reach out and point out to me, and I do want to point out here that the lyrics to Duel of the Fate are actually in Sanskrit, not Latin.
Oh,
So
I thought you
I
were about to say
referenced
something
trope,
else.
but in case people are curious,
Gotcha.
the
It's
actual
literally the lyrics
lyrics,
to Duel of the
literally
Fates.
the
Yes,
lyrics are in Sanskrit, not Latin.
got it.
So
I knew what you meant, though.
fun trivia fact, I actually didn't know. I said on the last episode that it was weird Sithy
No, I knew it was the
vocalization.
literal lyrics from Duel of the Fates.
No, but I'm saying, like, I thought it was just gobbledygook that they made up to
Oh,
sound
okay.
Sithy.
I
No,
guess I
no,
just
no.
wasn't clear.
I was not giving John Williams enough credit.
Oh,
That is
I guess. Okay.
actually a real language that exists.
I see.
That is actually Sanskrit, which
Yeah.
is
I don't know what they're
uh
saying, but yes. I don't feel
it's
the need to look up the translation, but
it's a classical language belonging to the Indo-Aryan branch of the Indo-European languages. Language nerds, look, language
yeah, I
nerds
was
could
gonna
go
say
off on a thing,
that's
but I'm not a
yeah,
language nerd. I just thought that correction was kind of fun. I didn't know
I
that it
like
was
it.
actually Sanskrit. But yes, Duel of the Fates, actually in Sanskrit. When you hear the Duel of the Fates, that's what people are singing.
Love it.
Speaking of Duel of the Fates, what are we doing? What are we talking about
Today we're talking about
generally?
Maul Shadow Lord Season 1, Chapter 4, Pride and Vengeance. A confrontation between Lawson and Maul threatens everyone. Charles, what's one thing you liked about the episode and one thing you did not?
The firefight is so fucking cool that I don't have any notes on it. I don't. The bit where Maul, Echo Dio, and Devin are all fighting up at the top, Duel of the Fate style. We'll get to that. And then there's a firefight going on down below. It's just cool as hell. Like every shot of it is cool as hell. The environment feels like it's part of it. The lightsabers are slicing through the metal scaffolding as they go up it, and they're in showers of sparks. It is the coolest fucking thing. This show continues to be like just the most beautiful treat for my eyeballs every time I get to watch it. The one thing I disliked about this episode, it felt in some ways like plot points from the first three episodes kind of continued on through this one, didn't really pay off to the end. Like, I'm thinking of the Two Boots plot in particular, where we're repeating the same plot from the last episode and we're not doing anything substantial with it right up until the end. Or, I don't know, this one felt like a conclusion to the first four episodes arc, but it also felt like not quite as big of a conclusion as maybe I would have wanted because some of these arcs continue on into the next bit. I feel like maybe we should have gotten a little more closure on some of these. Like the chief, spoilers for the next couple of episodes, the chief will disappear after the next episode. She would just be gone. And so I, found myself kind of wishing that Lawson maybe had to convince her more, or there was a little more of a moment to wrap up. I don't know. It felt like as a conclusion to the first four episodes before we get this huge sea change at the end of this episode, it wasn't quite impactful enough. I can't put my finger on a lot of specific things, but it's good, it's solid, and I also feel like if I didn't know that the show was going to majorly change after this, and if we couldn't tell, it would start to feel samey at this point. And so they switched it up at the perfect time. They changed up the status quo at the perfect time. And so ultimately, this proves to not be much of a thing that I disliked, but specifically for this episode. Bradley, what about you? What was one thing you liked and one thing you did not?
One thing I liked, I agree with you that it's the firefight slash lightsaber duel that I really like. This show continues to show us like the enhancement of lightsaber fights, like how good they look now. The light trails in particular, the way that the lightsabers do this thing where like instead of like rotoscoping, like think back when they did Clone Wars, it was just like it was the singular light, and then it would like go from point A to point B, and it would be like a straight line. And so all the fighting looked very boxy almost. Now the lightsabers have this light trail that like is built into the models that like looks so good. And it looks like the lightsaber is swooshing like every single time. And I love it. It looks like a triangle or whatever. It looks so good that I'm obsessed. The one thing I don't like, and this is a random nitpick, there's a new character that we get this episode who replaces the last cop character, that the blonde twink cop that got hurt last week with Two Boots. There's a new one this week. His name is Wade, Officer Wade or whatever. But he also immediately gets injured this episode and immediately is like done. Like it, I don't understand why the show feels the need to like introduce these brand new characters that don't serve the plot at all, other than just to be a background character. So I'm confused why they exist, but maybe we
Penn
can
and
talk about
Wade.
it.
Penn and Wade. He'll be back.
Is he back later?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, either it doesn't really matter if he's back or not. My point is, why are we introducing a brand new officer character at the fourth episode when we already introduced one in the first episode, but then took him out at the second episode and he never comes back so far.
He was in episode 2, but
Yeah.
blink and you miss it. Like
Wade was in too?
Officer Wade is credited for episode 2.
Oh, I didn't see him in
His
that one.
big
He just doesn't talk, obviously.
contribution to the plot is in, and it's small, but we'll talk about it when we get there. They need another cop character in order for another plot element to happen. We'll talk about it when we get to episode 8.
Okay. Because
But
I currently do not see the point of him right now, but maybe we can explain it later. But
when we get to episode 8, I think it'll become more clear why this particular character was necessary to have
okay.
somewhere in.
All right.
Let's dive into it.
Section 1. Vario arrives on the Pike homeworld pretending to deliver payment, but a supposed Maul attacks the Pike guards before Vario is able to stun him. Vario presents the captured Maul to Marg Krim, claiming he defeated him, but Krim realizes the prisoner is actually just one of Maul's followers. The real Maul appears, kills Krim, defeats the guards, and takes control of the Pike Syndicate by installing a new leader, Guard Captain Colt. Maul warns Colt that from now on, Colt answers to him.
So I do want to point out that you can kind of see the Pike redesign when he's landing. You had brought up that you couldn't really quite tell.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell because some of them are not wearing the mask. So you can kind of tell how the faces are kind of a cross between the prosthetics that they had to be in Book of Boba Fett and the way they're normally animated.
I was going to say I don't know if he has a name or not, but the first one, or maybe it is Colt, is the guy that is he the one who greets Vario in the beginning? Maybe he is or not. I don't remember. But
I don't know.
One of the Pikes,
It's a
whoever the
fucking
main
Pike.
one is,
It's a
whoever the
fucking
main one
Pike,
is.
and fuck them Pikes. So I don't really care.
But whoever the main one
hate
is,
the Pikes.
whoever the main one is who greets Vario when he comes, he looks the most like Book of Boba Fett Pike. I mean, it looks like they ripped him from the show and we're just like, let's model from that. And then you go to Marg Krim, who looks more Clone Wars-y style.
Right. Yeah, I think that is the main guy.
I think it is him, yeah.
Whatever. He's in charge of the Pikes now, but we'll get to that in a second. I also wanted to point out that I love the way they animate Vario.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like nervously stroking like his chin whiskers and the way he moves, like particularly when he's uncomfortable. But then you can also tell, like, later on when he's in situations where he's actually in control of it, his whole demeanor shifts. Like, it's going back to they figured out how to make it look like there's an actor making choices.
I also wanted to bring up, like, because you say that, so I'm confused. Either Vario is the best actor in the entire Star Wars universe, because, like, in the beginning, he's like, I'm sorry, he made me do it. Like, he's, like, selling this. Like, because he doesn't genuinely care, or like it's so confusing because it's all a farce to begin with, so it's like him doing that is like insane, that he is like pretending to be like nervous and like, I'm sorry you guys, I didn't mean to betray you, like, he made me do it, like.
I love this fucking guy.
It's so good.
I think it's a thing like Devin's name,
Mm-hmm.
where based on the information we have in the text, I can interpret it two ways. And I've interpreted it differently both times I've watched this episode.
Okay.
So when I was watching it with you, because there's another plug for our Patreon, this is the second episode Bradley and I watched together. So you can hear us. We went live on TikTok immediately after we were done to discuss it. You can see the full video from that on Patreon. But the first time we watched it, I thought he was working for Maul and like selling the act. This time, I watched it under the interpretation that he actually genuinely thought he was betraying Maul.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And the scene still worked.
I mean, I think it works either way. It doesn't really matter, actually.
That's the thing, is it works either way. You can interpret it as he's just a really good actor, or Maul didn't tell him what the plan was. And Vario, because you see he's a little like, he seems almost kind of conflicted when he shoots Maul in the back.
Yeah.
Like,
but then I feel like that leaves too much up to chance if he was like, oh, hopefully Vario betrays me. Like, I don't know. I think that leaves too much chance into the plan.
Well, I think Maul is also smart enough to know that, like, even if Vario, because, okay, Icarus, I think, is the one that
Icarus is the one, yes.
Is chopping people up with the lightsaber.
Yes.
If Icarus manages to clear the dock, great. Maul can just walk right in there and kill Mark Grimm without a problem.
Yeah, but that's not as fancy and like dramatic as
But
Maul made
if
it.
if Vario betrays him and shoots him in the back, then they can play it off as just part of the plan. I don't know. I think that the more likely interpretation based on Maul's character, we know how he feels about betrayal, is that Vario was in on the plan.
Yeah,
But you can fully watch the scene with
you
with
really could.
the interpretation that he isn't, and the scene still
I
works.
agree with you. I think the first time I watched it, I thought he did betray Maul. But then the second viewing, I thought, oh, he's in on the plan. Like he's just acting. Like, but then again, it doesn't really matter because it works both ways. I don't know. It's kind of
Exactly.
interesting.
Speaking of Mark Krim, Maul fucking chops him into pieces in one
Loves.
of the coldest deaths that I've seen in a while. And this one is fully on screen. Like you just watch this guy get diced up.
Yep.
We have been wondering, Glub Shido people have been wondering for a very long time what happened to Mark Krim. And now we know.
Now you know.
I was shocked when this happened. I expected him to be a bigger deal in the show, and nope, Maul just sliced him to pieces.
Well, we love that.
And then the others surrender so they get to live. Because
No, that was great.
they're also not the guy who fucked Maul over. Because
That's true.
we do find out what his beef with Marg Krim is. And his beef with Marg Krim is that after Mandalore, when he jetted off of the ship, he went to Obadiah and was like, "Hey, Marg Krim, my bestest buddy in the entire world, can I crash on your couch?" And Marg Krim was like, "Absolutely, my dude. You can definitely crash on the couch." And then Marg Krim had somebody try to stab Maul with a knife while he was sleeping on the couch.
Fair enough.
And Maul's pissy about this for what I believe are actually fairly understandable reasons.
I mean, so far, other than the like traumatic religious stuff, like I think Maul is pretty valid in all of his points so far. I mean,
That's the problem with him is individual things he says are correct.
yes,
Like he says things that are true, but he just broadly comes to the wrong conclusions or is attempting to lead people to self-serving conclusions.
right,
And that's the interesting thing about his character is like Steph pointed out on our feedback last week, he is continuing to perpetuate the cycle of abuse that he endured
right.
as a child, which we will see later as we get deeper into this series. We'll talk more about that. But part of it is this is how the Sith operate. Look at how Palpatine operated with Anakin. He's not saying things that are not true. He's just attempting to lead Anakin to a certain conclusion that Palpatine wants him to make. Read Revenge of the Sith by Matt Stover. Just do it. And read the annotated edition. He will lay out how he wrote Palpatine manipulating Anakin. It's like a masterclass. I love that book so fucking much.
I only have one minor thing. So it's just about the voice acting, and
Oh yeah.
it's only minor because he's doing other characters, but the guy who voices Guard Captain Called is Steve Blum, who we've talked about before, obviously, who does the voice in this show of Icarus. Which is kind of funny how Icarus is in this scene and he's also doing the voice of Icarus. I
Yep.
just thought that was great.
It's very D. Bradley
But yeah,
Baker talking to himself.
no, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, it's really weird that Icarus is in the scene, but also he's doing the voice of the guard captain. Like it's just funny.
D.
Um,
Bradley Baker
yeah,
are not appearing in this episode.
there you go.
So I guess Steve Blum has to do it. I think it's Steve Bloom. I think we've been
Bloom,
pronouncing it wrong for
whatever. It's
five
because
years.
it's because it's
It's
spelled
because phonetically
L-U-M.
it's BLUM.
Yeah, and I want
I
to say
think
Blum
it's
in my head.
Steve Bloom for
Or we
whatever
could just
reason.
sneak into the worldwide premiere of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie where he will definitely be at the premiere because he's doing the voice of Zeb. So
Because he's in the movie.
he's in the movie. So we'll just ask him. Section 2. Devon reunites with her master after escaping Maul, and although she wants to pursue Maul, Daki urges caution and suggests they leave to avoid drawing the Empire's attention. She insists on stopping Maul to protect the people of Janix, and she suggests a possible ally in Lawson. Back at Civil Defense HQ, Officer Wade gives Captain Lawson a tip about Maul's location from an Uncle Daki. Lawson gets approval to investigate from Chief Kleiss. She warns him he must succeed this time. As he prepares his squad, Two Boots insists on contacting the Empire for help, but Lawson stops him by shutting him down, choosing to proceed with the mission on his own.
So it's very unclear as to what Devon's motivation for taking Maul down is at this stage.
Hmm.
Devon seems to think, and I don't say unclear as in it's bad writing. It's not. It's really good writing. Different characters just have different interpretations of why Devon is really, really like gung ho on taking Maul out. She
Right.
clearly knows who Maul is. Maul has killed a lot of Jedi. Remember, he did not just kill Qui-Gon Jinn.
Right.
Spoilers for The Phantom Menace, by the way. They've also killed quite a
Yeah.
few other Jedi, including a council member,
Mm.
Maul and Savage did during the Clone Wars. So they've killed a lot of people. She seems to think it's about getting justice for the people Maul has killed. Daki seems to think that she's just out for vengeance. Little unclear who's right here, or maybe
Yeah.
both of them are.
I thought animation, like in like when I was watching this, like maybe it's I want to call it acting, but like during the animation, I'm like when Devin speaks, on the one hand, like whenever she's with Maul or whenever things are happening, I'm like, oh, she's so clearly being manipulated, slash, she's gonna turn to the dark side, obviously, blah blah blah. But then when she speaks away from Maul and she's talking, well, mostly when we get to the Riley stuff in the next set of episodes, I'm like, she seems fine. Like she seems like
She seems
she's
like a
totally
perfectly
good.
well-adjusted teenage girl. Like,
Right. And Doki's the only one who doesn't have any faith in her. Like, I'm like, wait a minute. In this scene in particular, I'm like, damn, dude, you think she's already immediately like dark side, dark side, dark side? Like, I want revenge. Like, she
and like
seems fine.
Ducky has a point that their priority needs to be get the fuck out.
No, he's
But he
correct
says a
because
bunch of shit.
obviously.
And I'm just like, are you listening to what your Padawan is saying? Because
Well,
it
they
does
never do.
not sound like you are listening to what your Padawan is saying
Right, right, right.
ever at all.
No, they never listen to the Padawan because that's how things always go wrong, obviously.
No, obviously. No master in the history of ever has ever listened to their Padawan.
Ever.
Ducky also does say something interesting during this section where he says, and I wrote the whole quote down because I
Okay.
thought it was so interesting. Devin is talking about justice, like we need to bring Maul to justice. Aren't we supposed to be doing justice? And Ducky says, we are no longer the defenders of justice in the eyes of the galaxy.
Huh.
So then that raises the question when it comes to enforcing moral law, if, like, what defines moral law? Is it like a nebulous thing? Is it the Jedi Code? Is it the will of the galaxy? Because Daki is right. As far as the galaxy is concerned, the Jedi are traitors who tried to assassinate the Emperor and take over the galaxy. They don't want the Jedi
Right.
to be doing justice. So, do the Jedi have a moral obligation to do justice for a society that does not want them around and actively thinks that they're evil? Or is their general priority to survive, to endure as an order for another, however long they can continue on?
It's hard to say because on the one hand, I'm like, isn't this technically your religion? Like, so you unequivocally have a obligation, moral obligation to be protectors, like because it's just based in your like your way of life and your way of thinking. However, on the other hand, in terms of like just logistics, like yeah, the Jedi are considered traitors. Like obviously, like they shouldn't be around. I think he's a little misguided here because technically their teachings and their following, like a monk doesn't stop being a monk just because people don't like monks anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so I think he's actually like wrong in this situation.
And Maul's main criticism of him is that he's so inflexible
Right.
in his thinking,
Right.
that he is not able to adapt. We just had, if we're watching this in chronological order, at least where we assume is in chronological order, we just watched The Bad Batch, a whole show about people who have to adapt
Right.
to, they were soldiers in an army that changed overnight and they had to make their own way in the galaxy. Daki can't figure out how to reconcile his Jedi principles with the environment he's currently living in because those principles for him are tied into a republic that no longer exists. And for Devin, I think the principles are a little more abstract, which is why she's able to much easier, have an easier time reconciling
Right.
them. But I think I want to see where they go with Daki. As of recording this, we have not seen the final two episodes. By the time you listen to this, we will have seen the final two episodes. I'm sure Bradley and I will be having a very in-depth in-depth text conversation as you listen to these words about the finale.
For sure.
But I want to see what they do with Daki because
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like this guy. And I think if he gets his ass killed, which I think is very likely, it will be his own damn fault. Lawson turning two boots off. This is my only other thing that I felt
Mhm.
compelled to bring up. Because the captain just fucking approves that shit like immediately.
Right.
Not even worth bringing up. That the chief does.
Mhm.
Immediately, not even worth bringing up. But then Lawson just switches two boots off to prevent him from calling the Empire, which is a little bit of a fucked up thing to do, but I also understand why he did it.
Mhm. I also have a random question. Why is Two Boots the only droid that wants to do this? None of the other droids are like, oh, let me call the Empire because it's protocol.
Because it's their case.
Oh, okay, okay.
Maul is Lawson's case.
I see, I see.
Two Boots is Lawson's
I was like,
partner. He
why
is the
aren't any
only
of the
one
other
that's going to
droids doing
know
this?
about it. Also, it's a little weird. I get why they're doing it because
Hmm.
Two Boots needs to be distinctive as a character, not just in his visual design, not just in his voice, but he also has to be distinct in his movements.
Yes.
So I get why they're animating him a little bit differently than the other police droids. We can assume the other police droids are have personalities of their own,
We
except I
really
don't know if
don't
we
know.
can assume that
We can't
because we
because
don't
we
know.
never know. I mean, even in this episode, like there's another droid that not it's not working with Lawson, but is just at the raid. And this doesn't have to go in any specific section, but like he's just a generic version of a droid and he doesn't have any personality. He doesn't do anything other than like this is where we go. This is what we're doing. This like he's very binary. Like he doesn't have personality. So I don't know. Maybe Two Boots. I mean, of course every Star Wars story we focus on, the robot has to have a personality because we're
Right.
living
And
that
this is
story.
the eternal problematic element of Star
Yeah,
Wars
yeah.
is how sentient are the robots really?
God, it's hard to say. And we'll get more into Two Boots later because I think he becomes more of a character later
Yes.
on.
In episode 8, which we will talk about.
I was gonna say, yeah, once we get there, I feel like he becomes more interesting because he does become more what we'll call independent. So I don't know.
I was just checking to see if the Shadow of Maul comic revealed anything about Two Boots at all.
Oh yeah, did you
Um,
ever? Is there more than one issue out yet? Or
issue 2 is out. I have
okay,
not read it.
oh, okay,
I will read it and get back to you, but it does not seem so because I just need a quick refresher because the first one was actually really forgettable.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's what I was worried
but
about.
Two
But
Boots
yeah,
is already his partner in Shadow
okay.
of Maul, the first one.
However, I will say now that we've watched almost all 10 episodes by this point, I wonder if going back and watching or reading the comic now, knowing the personalities and knowing how they act on screen, like if that would change the way I read the comic, if it would make it more interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if it probably wait till the whole comic comes out
Yeah, maybe.
and then I'll read it and I'll let you know if it's worth doing an episode on.
I mean, I'm already going to go out on a limb and say it's probably not worth doing an episode on,
I
but
was gonna say also, yes,
it's
probably
worth
not.
having
Tie-in
maybe a
comics
mini
generally are
conversation.
not. Yeah, tie-in comics generally are not.
Yeah, because
When the
they're not really
comics
meant to be like that.
when the comics do the individual storylines is where we have a pretty good chance of finding something that's actually worth covering, like
Right, right,
Charles
right.
Soule's Vader run.
Mhm.
Or we could end up with a complete dud of a comic limited series that goes nowhere and means nothing, like the Inquisitors comics.
Mm.
Those
Yeah,
were a waste of our fucking time.
it was, but like obviously I like them.
I mean,
But
I liked the comics, but they were
yeah, it doesn't say anything that we didn't already
yeah.
know. You know what I mean? Like if it had given backstories to all the Inquisitors, like if it had been like every issue is a different Inquisitor or some shit,
Well,
like
they
here's
did do
their
every
fucking
issue as a
backstory.
different Inquisitor, but it wasn't the backstories. It
Well, that's what I'm
was
saying is that's what it was missing, I
they're
feel like.
killing random Jedi number
Anyway,
578.
anyway.
Anyway, we don't have time to litigate that again.
Right, 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 right. Section 3. Devon and Docky wait for Lawson, who arrive with a police force and droids to investigate the abandoned factory. Inside, Vario delivers a message from Maul, who appears via hologram, reveals his forces surrounding the police, and proposes a deal to Lawson. He offers a truce to avoid Imperial involvement, and Lawson refuses. Maul's deal, and the mercenaries open fire on the police. Meanwhile, above the action, Docky and Devon confront Maul. A lightsaber battle ensues, and during the duel, Maul injures Docky and overpowers him, but Devon intervenes to protect her master.
The first thing I noticed about the back half of this episode is I can fucking see everything.
Oh my God. I was
I watched this. We were in
shook.
a fairly bright living room.
Yes.
Like your living room is pretty bright, and we
Full
were able
sun
to
on the
clearly see it.
TV.
Yeah,
Like
we were
we
able to
could
see
see
what
it.
was going on. And then I
100%.
watched it on my screen at home, and I saw details I hadn't seen before, but generally it was the same experience.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, hello, Game of Thrones. This is not even real things, and I can see it. You know what I mean? I, I just
Certain
all it takes
fucking
is someone who
episodes of The
knows,
Bad Batch.
whoever knows what they're doing with lighting. Like, I just take in lighting and animation is different, obviously, but like, I like to be able to see what the fuck I'm looking at.
I
Like,
also liked being able to see what the fuck I was looking at. It was
and to be
great.
fair, it's dark as shit, and I have to take screen grabs for our YouTube stuff. And so it's really hard for me sometimes to do that because it is hard to take screen grabs if it's really dark on screen. And this show, for some reason, I don't know, maybe they just knew what they were doing. I'm able to do it, and then I can see what's going on the screen.
Shout out to the show for
Shout
just
out to
being
the show.
good, being so good. Like, do I have my analytical nitpicks and tiny
Oh yeah.
things that I think maybe this doesn't work, or maybe I could have done I would have done this differently. Maybe not, this could have been better, but like maybe I would do this differently. Yeah, obviously I've got these things, but this show is so fucking good
Yeah.
that I don't notice them until I go back to do my analysis. The
100%.
first time I watched these episodes, I'm like, holy shit. Holy fucking shit. This show's so fucking good. And then I go back and I pick it apart, and 98% of the time it just reinforces how good the show is. And one of it is, yeah, the lighting of this show is so fucking good. I can see in the dark, it's atmospheric, it changes. The lighting in the offices are different, the lighting in the apartment is different, it's moody, the show is so fucking beautiful.
So good.
Okay. We got to talk about one of my favorite sequences in the show so far.
Okay.
We've got to talk about how fucking horny for Brandon Lawson Maul is.
Oh my God.
Maul gets on this call
Uh-huh.
with Brandon Lawson,
Yeah.
and you would think that Maul worships the ground that this guy walks on. We've seen Maul with a nemesis before.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, Obi-Wan Kenobi being the big one, but also Darth Sidious, another big one. The way that Maul treats Lawson is so different than everyone else he beefs with, because he's just so happy to talk to someone on his level, playing the same game as him with no bullshit attached. He's having the best time of his life during this conversation.
He likes somebody who's just as smart as he is.
Yes, he
He
genuinely
respects it,
respects how
yes.
smart Lawson is, how dedicated he is, how pursuit of his goal he is. When he says, I see you're a man of honor and intelligence, I believe Maul believes that.
I think he does. I think he genuinely is like, wait a minute. If for some reason I can convince this guy, like we could have an understanding because now Lawson was never going to agree to this because he always has to do the right thing, obviously. He can't work with a criminal, right?
No,
So it was never going to work out. However, I will say Maul's suggestion to work together is not actually a bad idea for Janix in the long run, right?
no, he's like, in the long run, the Empire is going to be there. That's going
Sure.
to be a problem. But no, his pitch is basically like, let's reestablish the order that we had
Yes.
before I came in and fucked everything up. And Lawson's like, no, you came in and fucked everything up. I'm
Which,
not going to do that with
yeah.
you.
It's weird though he doesn't do it because technically the crime lords were operating as everything was normal. Like everything was working well. Like it was balanced, right? The police were working with it in a way to where like they knew what was going on, but like they were kind of like I'm not going to say they were letting things slide, but they were not they
They
knew the order of
understood,
operations.
yeah, they understood the benefits of how and where to wage their
Right.
particular war on. It was this kind of Cold War situation going on.
Right.
And Maul came in. I think part of it is that Maul is an unknown factor, and also all of those were small time crime lords. on Janet. Maul just killed the leader of the Pike Syndicate and not had the leader of the Pike Syndicate killed. Maul walked into the leader of the Pike Syndicate's throne room and chopped him into sushi.
Yeah.
Like, no, you cannot trust this guy to maintain any sort of order. And Lawson's like, absolutely the fuck not. No. And then Maul, in the greatest, most glorious, most delicious bit of character subversion that I have seen on this show, goes, yeah, that's disappointing, but you are honorable. So I actually super respect that you told me to go fuck myself. He wants Lawson so bad.
Oh my God. Ridiculous.
And did you catch that he also has his little like dig at the Empire in there?
No. What did he say?
Because he's basically actually, let me literally pull the
Yeah, what
episode up.
yeah, what's the quote? Because I don't know if I caught that.
So Lawson asks, how do you know the Empire is not on their way? And Maul responds, if that were the case, they would already be here. And I'm paraphrasing the next little bit. Since they are not, you obviously didn't call them. You chose to disregard Imperial protocol. Like I said, a man of intelligence.
Maul knows the same thing that Lost knows, which is if we call the Empire, we're both fucked. Like it's not a
Yep.
mutual thing. Like I don't get a benefit if I call the Empire. If I call the Empire and it's like, oh great, they're getting rid of Maul, congrats. Doesn't matter. They're gonna be here.
He's also got to poke at the people that he doesn't like, and he
Well,
doesn't
of
like
course.
the Empire, so he's going to take his little moment to dig at it. So obviously,
Right.
you are a man of intelligence, so you really want nothing to do with them. Oh my God. I fucking love this.
So good.
Oh, this is great. The firefight is starting. Docky and Devin confront Maul. Both Docky and Devin take their robes off. And that's when I realized this is the Phantom Menace setup again.
Mm.
When they start taking their when they take their robes off to prepare for combat. And I'm like, oh my God, this is just like in the Phantom Menace. And then I realized, oh my God, it's a Master and a Padawan versus Maul, just like in the Phantom
Just
Menace.
like the Phantom. I love
And
it.
then later on, Maul uses the same separation tactic where he tries to basically get Devin out of the way so he can kill Docky,
Right.
just like in the Phantom Menace, except it doesn't work this time.
Well, of course.
Last time it worked, this time it doesn't. But that was jumping too far ahead. Back to the bit where Maul is monologuing at them in the way he didn't in Phantom Menace, which good because Sam Witwer had not yet been cast as Maul
Of course.
at that point. He says a couple of things that I find interesting. He tells the Jedi, you survive, but you do not live. And then a couple lines later, he says, it is your unwillingness to use your power that makes you weak. Once again, Maul, everything you tell the Jedi tells us more about you than them. Maul thinks if you have the capacity for power, you should exercise it. That restraint is not something that even enters his vocabulary, except in service of getting more power.
Right.
He's not stupid. This is where I think people go wrong with the Sith. There's a lot more Sith in Legends. We don't really have a lot of them in canon. But where I think people write the Sith well is where they understand that being Sith isn't being stupid evil.
Right.
For my Legends girlies, the best Sith is Lana Beniko. And the reason Lana Beniko is the best Sith is because she understands what power looks like. And it's not necessarily being the guy on the throne with the target on your back. She's smart enough to understand her role in the system, but also how to exploit that to get more power. And at least where I left off in the story for the Old Republic, she had not yet been toppled from a very powerful position in galactic politics after many, many, many years of being a public figure. So this is the thing about Maul, is that he understands that, but at the same time, everything he's thinking about is how to get more of whatever it is he wants. More power, more influence, more control of the syndicates, more revenge, more revenge, more motherfucking revenge. Stop with the revenge, my guy. My next note is the lasers and lightsabers and all this is crazy. I feel like that note just covers this whole, it's really cool fight. I can't describe it.
No, it's a really it's an amazing little fight. And actually, there's a point where, and I'm sure you were going to bring this up anyway, where Lawson kind of plays a little dirty in this fight, they cut from the lightsaber fight to Lawson again, and it's basically we'll call it his face off with Rookcast, and she's like shooting at him or whatever, and then of course she uses the flamethrower.
Yeah, we'll fucking
Um,
talk about that in a second, but please continue. I don't want to
but
cut your point off.
he shoots the scaffolding, and the scaffolding falls like almost on top of her, and like I'm like, whoa, that's not regulation fighting like in a firefight. Like he plays a little dirty. Like he's like, I'm gonna crush her to death or whatever, and then she escapes it. But it's just funny that like he thought of that versus just like generic shooting. Like I don't know. I feel like cops don't necessarily like they're not
Because
creative.
because he's smart and he's strategic.
Right.
He is a cut above the people that Maul normally
Of
fights.
course.
And that's why Maul is so horny for him. Because he has all of the intelligence and ability to match wits with Maul that Kenobi had, and none of the baggage. Lawson is a pretty great rebound from Obi-Wan Kenobi, who
like
Maul thinks is dead at this point. Okay. All right. I watched it 3 times when I was taking my notes.
Okay.
I watched it 3 times because I wanted to be sure I got it. So Rookcast shoots the flamethrower.
Yeah.
Which, again, I don't know where the fuel is coming from.
Yeah.
In the tiny little wrist. She's not wearing a jetpack from what I can tell.
No.
So, like, where is it coming from exactly? But fine, whatever. She expends the one bit of flamethrower that she was able to use from this thing.
Literally all of it that she's ever had in her entire life. But yeah.
Several drops of fuel that managed to fit into the fucking gauntlet on your wrist. What is the point of that?
Maybe she has like a little coaxium like thing in her wrist that's just like
I don't know how much fucking fuel. I don't know how. Because you look at a flamethrower, right? And they've got these big fucking tanks. I'm still litigating this 5 years fucking later because I'm right and everybody else is wrong.
Yeah.
They're these big fucking tanks that sit on your back, and you saw the flame troopers in The Mandalorian with the big fucking tanks. Where is that fuel coming from? You can use it like once. And what does she use it? What does she use it on? She uses it on the droid.
Yeah.
Right? Pointless. So why I watched this very, very carefully because it kind of looks like in fact, I'm going to pull it up and watch it again just so I know I'm describing this accurately.
Okay.
So here's the thing that pisses me off about this sequence.
Yeah.
So she shoots it at a droid, and the droid has a shield.
Sure.
And I know what you're thinking, which is, hey, Charles, wouldn't the flamethrower be really, really, really effective at getting around the shield and getting rid of the shield? And yes, that would make a lot of sense, except the droid does not raise their shield when she starts shooting the flamethrower at them. No, she aims it around the side of the shield in front of the droid, right? And moves it kind of like you can see it kind of sweeps in towards it. And the droid moves the shield out of the way to turn towards her and just takes the flamethrower in the face.
Okay.
So it's effective because this droid is fucking stupid.
But also...
And turned into it instead of raising the goddamn shield.
Yeah.
Which would have been a little... You are a droid, right? So if it singes your limbs, it's not going to do the same skin damage it's going to do.
Made of
and like
metal.
it's not going to boil the blood inside your arms the same way it's going to do it for an organic. So like it turns, I swear to God, watch this. It turns into the flame blast and that like knocks it over. And then she chases Lawson behind the... I'm not giving this one to the fucking flamethrower. I hear you, several people who are going to be in my DMs about this. I hear you wanting me to give it to the flamethrower. I will not give it to the flamethrower. This droid turned into it and took it full to the face. And yes, obviously at that point it covered the entire thing and it's going to fry the circuits immediately. But also like, I don't know if the droid's just in the way. So at that point, why don't you aim it at Lawson? Actually, where is Lawson standing? I know He's like
behind a rock or some
on
shit.
My ass about this. So I need to make absolutely sure that I know exactly what I'm doing.
He's like behind a rock or behind something.
Yeah, so he is behind the crates.
Yeah.
And then she shoots it at the police droid. He runs out and she continues to like shoot it at police droids and things, and then he tosses a shield at her.
Eh, I mean, at the end of the day, she gets away, so I guess it does work. But I just like,
Shut the
like,
fuck up.
um,
Mind your
and also
business.
Rook Cast can do no wrong, so I don't know. I have no complaints about
Mind your
her,
fucking business.
so that's all I can say.
Mind your fucking business.
I can ignore
Lord.
this.
I can't.
I can the sins of a woman I can ignore. Especially an evil woman. I can always ignore the sins of an evil woman. So they get a lot more leniency on my end for Star Wars. Section 4. Spybot warns of incoming police reinforcements, prompting Rookcast to order a retreat, and Maul leaves instead of finishing off the Jedi. Lawson confronts the Jedi, but ultimately lets them go. Chief Kleiss arrives as the situation at the factory comes under control. Maul escapes with his group despite his injury, and on the streets, Daki shows signs of exhaustion and apologizes for failing. Back at the factory, Lawson oversees the carnage of the attack, and Two Boots arrives, and Lawson apologizes for shutting him down. Two Boots accepts the apology, but hopes Lawson can forgive him as well. All the officers' comlinks begin to signal as the arrival of a Star Destroyer appears over Janix City.
Boosh Kadu. I
What?
have no fucking idea. I didn't even look it up. I just laugh every time I hear Spybot do it.
Oh, okay.
The little Boosh Kadu. Like that's what it says in the subtitles when he goes back and over the side.
He is
The best
the
character
best
in
character
this.
in the show.
He's so fucking funny.
And I'm
I,
glad that he has continuously shown up every episode and he has a
yep.
moment in every episode, and I love it.
They've not forgotten about him. Some episodes his moments are bigger than others, but he's always there.
He's always
He's
there.
always there and he's always doing his
Always
thing.
there, never forgotten.
Yep. God, the scripts in this are so good. They just like remember characters exist and
Which
like
is so nice and refreshing.
it is. And like they have balanced the characters so well that I feel like we're not lacking any of the like main characters. All of them have gotten really strong storylines. They understand how to balance to where a character like Daki or Riley or Two Boots, who's not a main character,
Right.
is still getting enough meat in their scenes that they're coming across really well. Characters are not overused, they're not underused. Small characters who are just there consistently show up. There's never a point where the writers are like, we don't know what to do with this character. Like they're there.
There's only one character, and we'll talk about it next week, that I disagree with, that I think doesn't have a lot to do and doesn't do anything. But I'll put a pin in that. There's only one character that I feel like is underused. That not that you could do anything with, but I feel like we'll get to it when we get to it.
We'll get to it because also we're going to get the last two episodes by the time we record.
I
So
was
we'll
gonna say,
see.
yeah.
I think I know who you're thinking about.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
Lawson then lets the Jedi go,
Mhm.
which he is a good guy, so we expect him to do that. But I also find it really interesting that he does that because he doesn't really seem to have interacted with a lot of Jedi.
Yeah.
He's not like a Jedi sympathizer. He just recognizes that he should let the Jedi go because he doesn't like the Empire, and broadly they've generally been on his side.
And they've theoretically helped him in
Yes.
a way.
We also see that he's been willing to bend.
Yes. He's not 100% rigid in the rules.
Yes. So keep that in mind. He lets them go. This will come back later because this show is really well structured.
Yes.
The other thing I like about the result of this duel is there's an actual consequence for Maul.
Mm.
And I say this because I know the next couple of episodes,
Right.
but we see him get injured. Daki kicks the fuck out of his leg.
Actually, I thought it was Daki, but it's actually Devin kicks him.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was Daki too.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Devin kicks him.
I'm not looking up this episode a third time to double check. Somebody kicks him in the fucking leg.
I could have sworn because it's when he's about to. She comes in and she kicks him to freak him out. I can't remember if it was that or maybe Daki kicks him. I can't remember. Anyway, either way, his leg gets kicked by one of them, which semi malfunctions his leg. Which because we forget that he has mechanical legs. Like we do forget that after a while, because they don't look like the second generation legs. Because obviously he had human legs, or well, Dathomir
You had
legs,
human
whatever.
legs,
Human
spider
legs,
legs,
spider legs, creepy leg, robotic legs, then regular robotic
old
legs.
wounds legs is what I call that particular
Old
one
wounds.
for
Okay, okay.
reasons. Old wounds, we don't have time to get into that, but his old
Gotcha.
wounds looks, and now he's got his, yeah. And you would think that, oh, he
Modern
has,
legs.
yeah, you would think, oh, he has like mechanical legs. So, like, obviously, they can just take punishment and he's fine. No, those fucking things are wired into his nerves.
Right.
It hurts when he gets like kicked and they break. And it's not like he can just put them back together. Like they're on the
Well,
spot.
yeah, he doesn't have like a team that can like I imagine Spybot could probably do some repairs to
We
them,
will
but
see
yeah.
that they do some emergency repairs to his leg, but this will bother him
Yeah.
for at least 4 more episodes.
Right. I love it.
I also love it. We'll talk about it more as we get into the fight scene in episode 8,
Something.
I want to
I
say.
was gonna say something.
We're gonna have a lot to
A
say
lot to
about
say in
episode
those, yeah.
8.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a lot to say once the oh, I've been waiting to talk to you about next week.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to talk to you about next week. Okay, so two boots.
We finally get the culmination of this. Every single time I put in my notes, Two Boots wants to call the Empire. Lawson says no. This has happened maybe 9 times since in the 4 episodes.
Then Two Boots goes over Lawson's head
Yes.
to try to get the chief to call the Empire.
Right.
And the chief says no. And everybody tells Two Boots no. And Two Boots, yeah, Two Boots called the Empire.
Finally
And
just said, fuck all of you. I'm going to
fuck
call the
all of
goddamn
you, I'm
Emperor.
just going to
Yes.
do it.
Yes.
I had a note here, but really, I think we should talk more about this later.
Okay.
Because we're going to get more into Two Boots is operating on his programming.
Uh-huh.
He's said multiple times he
I
doesn't
agree.
really understand what the Empire is. He thinks it's going to be just like the Republic. We will see him speed
Right.
run the Cyril Karn arc from Andor,
Yes.
just as a much more sympathetic character.
Correct.
Yes. Then we get this crazy fucking entrance from the Star Destroyer. This is my last note. It looms like it covers the screen. We get this Force Awakens style
Yep.
entrance to it. Then we turn around and get the A New Hope style entrance to it,
Love it.
where we see it like looming over the city. Star Destroyers can park in low orbit now. That was established in Rogue One. We just got to go with it. And then we hear one single blare on the Imperial klaxon
Loves.
and smash cut to credits. Holy shit, that's how you ended episode.
That is the culmination of the
Yeah.
first arc. Like
That
is
is
such
the
a good
end of the first arc.
Oh, 100%. This is going to lead into like my final thoughts, but I mean, I'm not going to get there yet, but it kind of has to do with that. And that is because the way that these episodes are structured, they genuinely are brother and sister episodes, or like they are twins. Like they all mean something with each other. And because the first 4 episodes, now that I'm looking at it as a whole, it is one little mini arc, the first 4. And I feel like kind of how it works with the next 4. Like I feel like it's 4, 4, and then the last 2 are the finale. Like I think that's kind of how it works, like with this show.
I'm going to say this now. I don't think I'm going to have to walk it back because I'm fairly confident in it based on episode 8.
Okay.
But I'm going to take that a step further and say that part of the reason that these first 4 episodes feel so satisfying and why this ending works as well as it does, this season has a 3-act structure.
Like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This was act 1.
I think I agree, unfortunately, that it's like this could be a movie. Like,
yeah, this is
show
if you're watching it, is about a 3-hour movie, 3.5 hours
works.
for Maul, maybe a little over 3.5 hours. So far, the episodes I've seen, 1 through 8, form an act 1 and act 2 structure. There is even a point, there is a midpoint, there's a midpoint of no return that I can identify in the middle of it. This was our act 1 reversal. The calling in of the Empire was the act 1 reversal.
And like,
so I think it actually is a 3-act structure to this narrative.
And the crazy part is like, as much as I think like it all works really well, you theoretically could trim this down to make it work as a solid movie. Like You could. There's little things, little tiny moments that you
There's
could have
subplots you
cut.
would lose
Yeah,
if you, yeah. And this is, getting into the conversation of TV versus
right.
movies. What works for a movie is not necessarily going to work for a TV show. I watched the Zack Snyder Justice League on my DC journey, which again, you can listen to on the Patreon. But one of the things I thought about that movie was like, I really liked this. It is a 4 hour movie.
Yeah.
And if it had come to theaters, it would not have been a 4 hour movie.
Well, no.
There would have been stuff that we lost. It would have been a different experience. And yeah, it's always interesting to see how there are people who are better editors than me. I
Sure.
was never a very good editor. I was an okay director. I was a better theater director than I was film just because I don't like to cut things.
Yeah.
And part of the job of a film director, is to cut things to get your movie down.
Yeah.
That is something that I noticed about this, is that it's a long experience because it's a 10-hour miniseries or 10
Right.
episode miniseries, not 10 hours, Jesus Christ.
No. It's only 20 minutes each.
But it
But
has, from what I could tell, a coherent 3-act structure, with the arrival of the Imperials being the end of Act 1
yeah.
and Devin and Maul on the train being the end of Act 2.
Mhm.
And then the arrival of, this is what I think so far, the arrival of the whole scene in the apartment is the midpoint.
Mm.
Yeah. That's
I
where I
agree.
think of this thus far. But this episode was directed by Nathaniel Villanueva. Yeah, we talked about him. He co-directed The Dark Revenge. So
Which
talked
makes
about
sense.
Nate. He's Nate Villanueva in the credits. He's Nathaniel Villanueva on IMDb. We've talked about him
I see.
18 billion hundred times before.
Yes.
This episode was written by Amanda Rose Munoz, who is the associate story editor for the entire show
Okay.
thus far. Mainly has worked on Star Wars. In fact, has only worked on Star Wars.
I wish that was my IMDb, where it's like I only worked on Star Wars. I've never worked on anything else.
Yeah, only ever worked on Star Wars. First writing credit, she was a script coordinator on Star Wars Rebels. That was where she
Oh,
got her start.
nice.
She was also a coordinator and shot assistant for season 2, and then a script coordinator for seasons 3 and 4. Started writing in The Bad Batch all the way back in season 1. She wrote Decommissioned, that really good episode from season 1. She also wrote Infested, the really bad episode of
I
season
think we
1
talked
that we
about that
didn't
on the Bad
like.
Batch.
But she's written a lot of bangers after that. So highlights again for Star Wars, because I want to shout her out because she's written some really fucking good episodes. She wrote The Solitary Clone, the Commander Cody episode from season 2. She wrote a couple of episodes of season 3. She wrote Path of Anger, Path of Fear, and Path of Hate. She wrote the Morgan Elsbeth episodes
Nice.
of Tales of
Tales
the
of the
Empire, and
Empire.
then she's the script supervisor on a whole bunch of Star Wars. So that's who's writing this episode.
Amazing.
And alrighty, I know you've been waiting for this. What are we talking about next week?
Next week, we're talking about Chapter 5, Inquisition.
Hell yes, we are.
Hell yeah, we are.
Hell yeah,
I'm
we
about
are.
to become a menace because these next 4 episodes, I thought, when episode 0, when we talked about this, I thought Inquisition and what's the one after that?
Night of the Hunted.
Night of the
I
Hunted.
remember because it's such a fucking banger.
No, I thought that was it. That was the only Inquisitor episodes we were ever going to get, and we're done. Thankfully, 7 and 8 proved me the fuck wrong. I can't wait to talk about it. It's something to look forward to, for sure.
Have
Because the
you
next
seen
4
any of the
episodes,
promotional?
I was going to say, some of the next 4 episodes are arguably the best episodes of the series. And
They
it's
keep
so
getting
hard.
better.
They
They
do.
just keep getting better.
It's crazy how much like it genuinely gets better as we go. Like, and that's really hard to do because I feel like there is a lull sometimes, and I don't
Yeah,
feel
like
that in this show.
the decision to treat it like a 3-act structure and do a reversal at the end of episode 4,
Yeah.
genuinely one of the most brilliant structuring decisions I've ever seen in my life. Like, shows generally don't do that.
Right.
Like, that's not where you put a reversal. That's not usually where you put it. but this one is designed. We complain all the time about the release of these shows being incongruous with the design. Maul fucking demonstrates what happens when you design a show to be released a certain way, when you know how to actually design it structurally, because it's 2 episode drops, they're companions to each other, they work really well together, and then they put reversals at points where we wouldn't expect them. It keeps us on our toes. It's building, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. I want to teach a class on this show. Like, genuinely, I want to teach a college course
it's so good
on structure just on this show and how good the pacing of this show is. My God. Yeah, we're talking about Inquisition next week.
Pluggables, if you want to follow stuff that I do outside of the show, I work in reality television, and I've had the chance to work on shows behind the scenes, such shows as like Married to Medicine on Bravo. And right now, my newest show, season 2 of Temptation Island, is on Netflix.
And if you want to hear me bitch at Bradley for 30 minutes about the first 3 episodes of the latest season of Temptation Island, check out last week's Patreon warm-up section, where I just berate Bradley for 30 minutes about how much I hate the cast of the new Temptation Island. I will be watching this season to its conclusion. If you want to see where I am outside of this show, there's a couple of places. You can find me on basically every social media at CWRogers6 if you want to see all of the things that I do. I am a cast member on For Light and Dice, a Star Wars TTRPG set in the High Republic era. You can also find books that I write. Currently, I've been working on my own crime drama. That's called Beach House Studios. It's available on Amazon, Kobo, and Barnes & Noble. And there's a new series that I'm working on, but I'll have more information on that as the year has progressed. All right. Bradley and I are both fucking professionals. Run the socials. Thank you for listening to Gold Squadron Gaze. Did Charles fuck something up? Email us at goldsquadrongaze@gmail.com and let us know. You can follow us on BlueSky, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Gold Squadron Gaze. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Gold Squadron Gaze, where we post full episodes of this podcast. If you like the podcast, you can also rate us and review us on your favorite podcast app of choice. Please join us next week and every week for another episode of Gold Squadron Gaze. Bradley's just nodding along.
Yeah, because I mean,
that way he does where I'm right.
I mean, I can't argue with anything. Like, I agree with you, unfortunately, and so that's just where we're at.
I agree with you, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to have some kind of back and forth, but if I just agree with everything you're saying, like, it's weird. Like, okay, fine, you're right.
You're right. The meat of the show is when you and I get into violent disagreements on the microphone. That's what the people tune in for, is they really tune in for that level of verbal violence being thrown back and forth.